Okay, we are live. It is a partay. Yes. So
Actually,
tonight on Tidbits and Scribbles, I thought we would just talk about authors that are struggling with whether it's sales or should they be doing this, and their journey's not going the way they thought it would. And the one thing that kept rolling through my mind is, are you doing everything? Are you doing everything that you know how to do to get those books to sell or to write that book? Um, and I don't know. One of the first things that came to my mind was marketing, because
mm,
there's simple things that you can do for marketing, like updating your website.
mm,
And if you don't know what SEO is, look it up. It's important.
mhm.
I don't know if you guys don't have websites, do you?
I've got one, but it's not widely known.
Okay, well, see, there you go. You need to make it more widely known.
Yeah, mine is basically a page inside the magazine.
Okay.
While I've got lots of readers for the magazine, there's a button off to the left hand side that is basically it just says Dan's promo page.
Okay, I was gonna say it takes you to your page. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I put on everything I've got out
Good.
already, and I need to update it much more frequently than I do. But
Yeah, I was gonna say that's I learned with my website, and it probably took me most of a day. So I wrote a little bit and then I jumped into, okay, what the hell is SEO?
Yeah.
And it's search engine optimization is what it is.
oh yes,
Yeah.
And so on my website, I can write a blog. And I always thought, why would I write a blog? All that you need to know is on all my social media stuff.
Yeah.
Well, if social media should fumble, which it sometimes does,
Mm-hmm.
then you've got your website as backup. So I've been putting on there on my website a daily, Monday through Friday. Hey, here's what's up. Here's what's going on. Here's where you can find me. So that the SEO hits higher in the Google searches.
Yeah. And that makes sense to do that. We do similar things on Facebook and such. I'm posting every day to a couple different groups. Not always about the book, but I'm at least posting so people know my name.
Yes. I was
Start
just saying, just
following,
branding even.
yeah. And then when I do have something about a book, I'll mention it. Not a hard sell, but just like, oh, hey, by the way, you like what you're seeing here. I just wrote a book. Here you go. It helps. A website would probably be better because I could put like one of those e-commerce things there, and they can buy
Mhm.
directly from the website. Most places, Amazon, Lulu, I'm sure Ingram does that, where you can sell your books on your own website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can link to their website too. You can do all
yeah,
different kinds of things. Depending on the website that you pay for, depends on what you can do with your website. But again, all of that is I go through Wix to do my website. And even if you have the bottom tier, even if you're paying for just the bottom or getting their free website that they do,
Mm-hmm.
there are still learning tools. There are still every website I've ever gone to, you can learn about it, you can contact them. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the biggest things that boggles my mind is the information is there. People just aren't looking for it. They're looking for the easy answer. They're looking for the here, make me a millionaire tomorrow. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, or even
buy a lottery ticket.
yeah,
Right.
or even make me middle class, or something.
Yeah, make me famous, make me rich,
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to do that in writing, and it takes a long time, and a lot of work to get there. And
Well,
to get a constant income out of writing isn't always easy because it'll come in spurts, and then there'll be a lull, and the spurts and a lull as you bring things out. It doesn't always come constantly, so you can't just say, "Oh, I make this much a year," because you don't know you will.
Yeah.
mhm.
And that's one thing I've heard is that in the romance writing world, apparently there's this standard of you need to get a book out a year so that you're fresh with your readers. Your readers expect at least one book every year. And some writers can put 6 or 8 books out a year. I don't know how. I don't know if they're smaller books than mine, but mine run about 80,000 words. And so for me, it takes me a good year to put them out if I'm doing it by myself. Now, if I'm collaborating on one, yeah, it goes a little faster, but.
Yeah. It takes me about 2 years to write one.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you have a full-time job too.
It's been the same, and I've had the job all along. The only advantage I've got is I've got the name recognition from running the magazine for 25 years. That doesn't mean that I'm going to have all these sales in 80 some odd countries around the world. It just means if my name pops up in front of one of these folks that have read the magazine, then they kind of might remember that I'm the one that pays for the web space, you know?
Yeah.
But the only advantage that gives me is at a convention where I get put on writing panels because folks,
they know you know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's fun. That is always fun. Although I'm looking forward to the day when it's not butterflies in my stomach on a writing panel.
Good luck with that.
I've been doing that for I don't know how long.
Because I've been in a couple, and it's just like I thought the second one and the third one would get easy. It doesn't. You still get the butterflies. You still get somebody is going to call me out and say, "What the hell do you know?" And just like doing tidbits, you know, I'm always afraid somebody's going to pop into the comments and say, "What the hell do you know? Why would I listen to you? You know, I've got more books out than you do." The only thing I can come back with is I'm a damn good writer and I'm learning as I go. If you don't want to learn from me, move on.
Well, and if you're that good, why aren't you in here with us? So,
right.
The link is out there. The link is out there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, pop in here and share your wisdom.
It's kind of like when someone comes up and says something about, I didn't like that book. Or I didn't like that story you wrote. And you can say, well, where's yours? Oh, I don't have one.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
Yeah. Well, I wrote it, but I haven't published it yet or whatever.
Doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Or it's not finished yet. I love that one. I've had it in a drawer for 20 years and it's not finished. Well, so did I, but at some point you've got to say, okay, enough is enough. Yeah.
Oh, my favorite was, and I've actually seen somebody mention this before. It happened to them as well. But somebody's going, I've got some questions about whether or not you can deduct buying furniture for your office on your taxes as a writer. And I go, well, I don't know. But what have you written? He go, I haven't written anything yet. I'm just trying to figure out all the background stuff so I can forge ahead. And I'm going, okay.
Maybe start with writing the book. Finish writing the book. Then start with the other stuff.
When you have a product, then decorate your office.
Yeah.
Well, first you have to have writing income before you can have writing deductions.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's true.
Yes.
Yeah. You can't just take a deduction because you think you're a writer. And the IRS considers 5 years, without much income as a hobby.
Yes.
So
I talked to a tax person last year and this year, and same person. And she said, looking at my stuff, she's like, you bring in a lot, but you also have a lot going out, but it's still not enough to claim taxes on. To the tax people, it's a hobby until you make X amount because my husband and I file jointly. So per his income on his 9 to 5, we'll call it, my hobby business is a hobby. They don't care.
Yeah.
Yep. There's only been 2 years in the last 10 that I have had to claim my royalties. I mean, I brought the information in to the tax preparer, but he goes, I can throw this in, but it's not going to help or hurt.
Right. It would cost more to file than it would, to
Oh,
doing
he
it,
just
but-
he just adds it in under additional income, like a windfall.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
There's not even a special form. It's right there on the main form. So
Mhm.
I made the mistake of using like one of TurboTax's forms to report royalties,
uh-huh.
and it cost more to use that form than it did that I brought in. So I
Yes.
lost money doing it that way. So I should do it your friend's way and just say,
Yeah,
tip.
nah, it's good. It's
Yeah,
good.
tips.
Yeah.
Additional wages and tips. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yep.
that's exactly the line.
Uh-huh.
And especially if it's not a huge amount, because it never
Mhm.
is.
Yeah, not yet for me. I mean, and that's the thing is, the other thing is success. Everybody's idea of success or what they want out of their writing career is different. You know,
Mhm.
some of them, they want millions. They want, you know, the publicity. They want everything. Some of us just want to make it, just want to make, let me break even. Let me just
Mhm.
pay for this writing career that I do, and I'm cool. I make
Mhm.
some more money, great. Others, it varies. Some of them are just, I just want to write stories. I don't care if I ever publish them. I just want to write.
Well, for me, I just want all these stories out of my head. I want people to read them.
Yeah,
I definitely want people to read them. I don't want to hide them away in a drawer or anything.
right.
But I've already made my income
Yeah.
off the factory. Uh, I'm not going to really. I'm set for the rest of my life,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not going to be flamboyantly comfortable, but it's going to
Yeah.
be at least what we're used to.
Mhm.
Right.
And the writing for me is not about the money. It's about telling the
Writing.
stories and getting
Yeah.
people to read them.
Mhm.
For me, it's the reaction. If people will say, "Wow, that was good," or "Wow, I didn't like that." You made me
I
mad.
love that part. Yeah.
Mhm.
Or
Yeah.
I just finished the Mad Gasser Cheerleader Returns,
Mm-hmm.
and I gave it to Donna to read. Okay, and I go in and I say, "What did you think of that last chapter, the ending?"
Yeah.
And she gives a face like, I'm like, exactly what I wanted.
That's what I wanted. Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted that face of, holy crap, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite reaction of all time was from my wife before we ever got married. Um, I sent her a copy of the manuscript I had finished,
Mhm.
and she read it on the bus trip from New Mexico to Georgia. And she said before she was a third of the way through, she forgot it was me that wrote it.
Good.
She was just that into it. And
Yeah.
I'm going, yay,
Mhm.
there
That's
you
perfect.
go.
That's what
Yeah,
it was.
that's the best compliment I have had on well, up until Donna started telling me about some of the stuff
Yeah.
that she's been reading of mine.
Good.
She got the in joke in one story and goes, "You bastard,
That's
I
awesome.
win."
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Well, I'm
Yeah, so
like Dan. I just need to get those stories out.
Mhm.
I was too lazy to go the regular publisher way because you had to research which one to go to and get it all ready and send it in and then wait for it to come back. So I'm ahead of the game because like Hunter's Ridge, I have 8 books and only 4 of them are published so far.
Mhm.
Beth and Hill, I have 7 and the 4th one is coming out. And then I've got various little, ones that's just sitting there. I'd like to,
Standalone stories, not part of
Yeah.
a series.
right?
Yeah.
Standalones.
Yeah.
So I kind of just sit on my laurels and just put out. That's why I'm trying to get a book out every 6 months, just to get them published.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's why when
Sorry.
you say, success or your writer journey isn't what it could be, well, maybe they don't want it to be what you think it could be or should be. So
Yeah.
that's why when some of these writers get to, it's not going the way I thought it should. My first reaction is, are you doing everything you can?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And one of the things that I've found is I don't do enough of either. And don't think that I'm preaching, but like I'm guilty of some of this stuff. Like I intend to write to the local newspapers because we've had a couple of them send out in the paper. It says, hey, we're looking for stories.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Okay.
how cool of a story would it be for me to write my backstory and be like, hey, I'm now a published author and this is what I'm doing. And now I get to do it full time because I'm lucky enough to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I am scared to death to send that story.
Oh,
Scared to death. Because
wow.
it's written, the story's written, it's in a file folder. All I got to do is figure out how to put everything together, like the book images. So the press release, I need to put the press release together. The story is there. I cannot send it.
You want to send it before you're going to be somewhere.
Yes.
Okay. So that when they write the story up, they can say, if you want to meet
Right.
Michaela J., the author, be at this particular
At this
address
place,
on this
time, yeah.
particular day. And by giving that information to them, not only in the story, but maybe even, up front on the thing saying you're going to be appearing somewhere, that
Uh-huh.
gives them a timeline at the newspaper. Because I've worked at a newspaper before.
Yeah.
If you're looking at human interest stories, you get a pile of them.
Yeah.
They don't always have a deadline. Okay. But if you have an event you're going to be at, that's sort of a deadline for them. And then your stuff will rise to the top of the pile. Okay.
Mhm.
So, if you mention in your cover letter, I'm going to be appearing here. Here's a story in case you can use it. They may not. They may not
Right.
use it.
Right.
But they will keep it, and they may call you later too
Mhm.
and say, are you doing anything this year? Well, as a matter of fact, yes, I am.
Right. And that's the thing is maybe they didn't use your story this time. Or maybe when you sent your book to that reviewer, they didn't have time. Now, some of them won't reject it out of hand, like I don't want to read it. Some of them will just simply say, I don't have time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep trying. Write them in a list and just keep trying. And some of it, and I'm guilty of it myself, so don't think that I'm trying to say I'm better than thou. But make a list of the reviewers that are out there that will review your genre or your type of book, or the length of your book. Some of them are only doing comic books. Some are only doing romance. Some are only doing historical. Well, my book is 3 different freaking genres.
Right.
That's different.
Mhm.
So when you say to a historical romance reader, hey, by the way, this has got a little bit of sci-fi, this has got a little bit of history, they might read it, they might not, because to them that's too much fantasy or it's too much medieval and they want to read westerns.
Mhm.
Okay, well, how do you find the right reviewer?
Mhm.
So when you find one that says, I just don't have time, but I want to, keep them on your freaking list and check back
yeah.
later.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
really. I accidentally got
Keisha.
hello, Keisha. I accidentally got in the local newspaper. I donated a copy of the first book that I got published
Good.
to my high school library,
Oh, that's
Ah,
awesome.
and the high school called the local newspaper. I mean, circulation,
Right.
1,000 people or
Yeah.
thereabouts,
Right.
maybe more, maybe less. I don't know,
Mhm.
but it was a county-wide thing.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it was local boy makes good sort of thing.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for that, but they did. They
Right.
planned it out that way.
Yeah.
Just accidental publicity like that.
Mhm.
But I keep going, well, I've got spare copies of some of the other stuff now that I've come further in the career. Maybe I should donate that to the high school library, maybe copies to the county library.
Right.
And I don't care. It would be nice for people to that I went to school with to know, hey, I'm doing good.
Yeah.
And I can basically do that through Facebook, but I can reach a whole lot more. I can reach their parents
Yeah.
that
Well, and for me, it's
probably
the
my
opposite.
age.
It's I would rather submit my backstory and my current works to a newspaper in Phoenix, Arizona, than I would in my own hometown.
Okay.
But for
You
them,
found what's holding you back now. Okay.
right? Oh, I know what it is.
Okay.
But for them, say Phoenix, Arizona, I've never lived there. I don't live there, so I'm not like hometown writer becomes, a published author. So, or hometown girl becomes published author. Nothing like that sort of headline. So to Phoenix, Arizona, I mean nothing. But to my hometown, then there's a different spin on that story.
Mhm.
And I don't want my hometown to know.
Okay.
Or I think I don't. Yeah, it's a thing. It's like, I want to be famous, but not there.
Okay.
Not there.
Uh,
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, you're going to hate my next suggestion.
Yeah, I know.
Which is save up your clippings from those newspapers. Okay, make those part of your thing. Approach your local television or radio station prior to going to an event. So, say you're going to a Peoria book show or
Right.
You talk to the people who do those morning shows,
Mm-hmm.
and see if you can get interviewed. They are desperate for good people to interview,
Yes.
and they've talked to the Garden Club so many times. They
Heck yeah.
they don't want to do that
And
again.
we just, in our area, we just had a brand new news program come on like that, where they interview people in the community, things going on in the community. And my first thought was, yeah, I'm going to get in there. Yeah. And I wrote up this whole thing, and I was going to send it, and it's still sitting on my computer.
Oh,
Yeah, you have the same problem I do with shameless self-promotion, as I call it.
Yeah. Now, mind you, if that were not a local news station, if that were national news, like let's say the Today Show,
right.
I'm all over that. I will send you anything you want. That's fine. But to do it in my hometown or near my hometown, oh, hell no. Hell no.
It's a little too intimate.
Yes, it's a little too, because if it's a bigger show, I can push it off and I can say, it's just a big show. If it's something local and hometown, I might be at the grocery store and somebody say, oh, I saw you on the news.
They will. Yeah.
No. No.
But what if they say, I saw you on the news, I want to buy your book?
That might be an encouragement right there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, thanks, Keisha.
Yeah. I have sold copies of my book because I was on television.
Mm-hmm.
And people, I didn't know you wrote a book. Well, no, I've only plastered it everywhere, but okay,
Right.
but they saw it on television, and then
Yes.
so this is another thing. Always carry copies of your book in your vehicle at all times to be able to sell, because you never know.
Yep.
Keisha brought up a wonderful point. She didn't even know she did.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, if you don't know if you want to go on there by yourself and be on television all by yourself, you can take a friend with you.
Yeah.
You can both promote each other, and you're there to help them, and they are there to help you.
Yes.
And you don't feel like it's so much shameless self-promotion. You're promoting each other, and you're promoting the show, and you're doing good works for everybody. And it's not just bragging. At that point.
Right. Because then you feel like I'm bragging on my friend who really deserves me to brag on them.
And now I've scared Keisha.
No, but it is scary. It's very
I'll be
scary.
right back.
But yeah, that's the thing. So I'm not saying I've got this list of things that you better do before you come to me whining about your career. Because trust me, I'm right there. I'm like, could I sell more books if I went on TV? Absolutely. Could I sell more books if I spent more money on advertising? Absolutely. What's stopping me? For me, it's the whole hometown fear.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a national stage, which I can't afford billboards, right? I can't afford TV commercials yet. But as soon as I can, you bet your boots I'm going to be doing it. I've even been thinking about radio advertisement, but not near my hometown.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And those are the folks that are most likely to actually buy a copy just because you're you.
Right.
They may not.
You are depriving yourself of an audience.
Yeah.
But see, and the way I see it, I'm not. because they'll look at me and say, she's a fool. Why would I buy her book? Because it is so ingrained. And for all those years, I was nothing. I was worthless. I was no good. And now I've had to retrain my brain, but that nagging little voice is back there saying, but you know you're not good enough. So it takes a good...
You need to schedule something, and I volunteer to be your wingman on the show.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
That's Carl and I used to do that all the time.
Oh,
for
yeah.
both the readers group and the computer club. We went on together.
Yeah.
When I was tutoring at DAC, my supervisor, who stood in front of classes and taught people how to teach other adults, she could kind of do the spiel, but she would take me along because I talk.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of anything.
Sure. And if you do, and if you go somewhere to meet like a reporter, because sometimes they'll call you and say, hey, you know, I want to meet in person and do my own article on you or whatever. Take a copy of your book with you.
Always. Yep.
And when you go on television, don't be like one guy I saw and forget to take a copy of your book to hold up.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh my.
I don't even need the book, dude. I got the poster board.
There you go. Yeah, sure. But something to show. Yeah. You know, here I've got something that's not like, you know, because that lends credibility to your story. Yes, I do have a book. It's right here. You know, right here. But also, you know, people see the cover and they go, oh, that's neat. I'm like,
right. And when they look it up on Amazon, let's say, there is another book out there called Warrior Secret.
Yeah.
So if they see the image, they're more likely to say, oh, that's not the right one. That's not the one I'm looking for. Hopefully.
Yeah.
For me, that's what that is. That's fear. But I have been making myself come out of that shell. I've been making myself send that article or talk to that person. And that's where I think I get, I'm going to say it, I get ballsy enough that I can tell people, when you're at a con, stand your ass up and talk to people. Because there was a time where I wouldn't either. I would love to sit down in that chair and hide behind my books and go, oh, are they good enough? Do you like them? Okay. No, you have to grab those people and be like, hey, over here. I am an author and you need to read my book.
Yeah.
Also,
it sounds so arrogant, except for the fact when you read my book, I can prove it.
Yep.
Also, too, the people who are doing these interviews, they know how to draw you out. They know how to make you comfortable. They know how to get you to forget that mic is there, that
oh, heck yeah,
that camera is there. And the next thing you know, you're just talking to another person. You're not talking to all those people out there.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's going to be the same as when you're talking to somebody at a con. You can do it, Michaela.
Oh, I know. And that's the thing. I know I can do it. I know I can be damn good. And here's the other thing that I do when I watch those programs. Like we have this new program and it's all about people in the community and what's going on. Okay. I have watched these things and some of them are for events that I go to. Okay. And so the promoters are being interviewed, right? And I'm like, oh, wow, this is really cool. We're going this weekend. That'll be fun. And the promoter sits there and goes, yes, we will have this and this and this and this and this. And it's good for families. Yeah, it's good for people. It's good for families. Like, that's it. There's no motion. There's no excitement. Nothing. I'm like,
they're scared to death.
Be excited.
Okay, folks. Dan and Carl.
Yeah.
We need to do to Michaela what we did to Keisha. You are sending that. You are sending that out.
Yes.
You will do that. If you don't do that by the time you come over here, you're going to be going to hurt.
That's only like a week and a half, lady. Like,
you said you had it all done and waiting on the computer. All you need to do is send it out.
I don't know that I can get the interview. I can send it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Send it out.
It's too late now.
Yeah, it's too late, Keisha.
And if you're worried about the camera,
not a bit.
Oh, look at there. You got a camera on you right now.
Oh, I know.
And
Yeah, that's
It's
that.
fun.
But in terms of the warrior, I have thrown down the gauntlet. You pick that fucker up and run.
Yeah.
she is good about taking your own stuff and throwing it back to say,
Yeah.
hey,
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm writing it down right now. Okay, Donna's gonna kick my ass. Here it is. Okay. But yes, and I do need that. I need someone in my
Okay.
corner to say, why not?
And
honestly,
if you need, I will be there. I will drive those miles and go there and be there with you.
that's awesome. I might have you do that. Because
Okay.
I said the same thing to Linda, my mentor.
I might bring him
said,
along too.
I sent her the article. And I said, will you make this better? And she goes, what do you want me to do? And I'm like, well,
How?
make it better. I said, I'm sending this to a newspaper. They're asking for articles about interesting people in the community. And I thought I might sort of be one. And she said, okay, send it. Like, you don't need to critique it or add something or take something. And she's like, no, you wrote it really well.
yeah,
You nailed it.
Mhm.
Now,
go now.
send it out.
Yeah, so now I got to send it.
Before the end of the show tonight, hit the send button.
No kidding. No, the only thing I have to do is I have to figure out how to do the press kit. I have every piece of it. I guess you gotta put it in a compressed file, which the only thing stopping me is I have not sat myself down and said, okay, here's how you learn this. Okay.
You know, they don't want to see your press kit anyway. They want
just
how
the
it's
article.
in the newspaper.
Yeah.
They want it. They can see it in the newspaper because okay, when you write a book and you're working on the manuscript itself, okay, you're kind of seeing it on the shelf already. You kind of see what your cover's going to be like. This is all in your head. Newspaper people do the same way. They see headlines.
Mhm.
Local gal makes good.
Plus,
Yep.
You know
they are not going to use your picture. If they want a picture in there, they will send one of their photogs out.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
No, they will.
They will.
That's how my picture got in the paper.
Remember, your press kit is selling the book.
Yes.
What you are selling is you, the
you.
writer.
Yeah. Yeah. So don't worry about your press kit. Just send your article out and see what
Okay,
they do.
there's your last excuse.
Just send it. Yep. See, and this is why we do this, because I'm not the only one
Oh,
Mhm.
dealing with this. And that's why I say when people are like, oh, my book's not selling and I don't know why. And okay, do you know what SEO is? Have you marketed it lately? And by lately, I mean yesterday, this week.
Yeah.
Did you market it? And a lot of times they will come back with, well, I haven't lately because life got in the way. Okay.
Yeah.
If you need that income, bust your ass and get it selling. Redo your graphics, redo your marketing.
Right. Yeah. And you know, there are economic reasons too why people aren't buying so many books right now. That will pass.
Yep.
You know, and you want to be ready for when that, you know, surge comes back, when the price of gas maybe goes back down or something, and people have a little more pocket money. You want to be ready for that.
Oh, absolutely.
I do want to point out one thing too, though.
Yeah.
Books are like chocolate. If you're addicted, you will find the money to get the books you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they have
And
to know
that's
about you
where
first.
Some people, with some authors, I've heard, will not offer people to be on their ARC team or their beta team. They will just berate the people that talk about, oh, I got this free book, or, you know, I can't afford books. And they'll say, well, go to the library. Why wouldn't you tell that person, well, what genre do you read? You like my genre? Okay, great. You want to be on my ARC team, my beta team? I'll send you free books. Why wouldn't you tell them that? And even put a stipulation on it of, you know, hey, if I'm going to give you these free books, I would appreciate a review.
Sure.
Wherever you want to put that review, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, wherever.
Right.
Why wouldn't you do that?
And you know, it doesn't mean you have to send them every piece of work you ever do. So if you write a book and it's part of a series like you have, okay, you're sending this one person book 3. Do you think that they're going to stop there? No, they're going to say, I guess I better buy one and two because I'm missing something here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
How
yeah.
did they get here from there?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or, hey, these characters in this book are neat, but they're not in this book. They're in book 2 or book 1. I want to read about them. Yeah.
Right.
And that's the whole thing. Like, you got to get your name out there. Okay, you gave away a free ebook. Did you get a review? Did it bump you on the algorithms? Did it get your name out there? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you make a sale? No, but maybe you'll make one off of that.
Yeah. One of my most popular book is the one that I'm giving away free on Facebook, the Uncle Carl's Guide to Muncie.
Yeah.
And I give it to everybody who comes to that Muncie, what do they call it? Muncie water cooler. So it's a group that just gets together to talk about what they did last night or last week in Muncie. And every once in a while, somebody comes on and says, I am new to this thing. And I'd be like, go over to the files section. There's a copy of my book over there. It's the copy from February of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if they want an updated copy, which should be ready next week, I've been busy. The updated copy should be ready next week. Then they'll have to go to Lulu for that. And I will start mentioning that when I will probably go in that file, pull it back out of there, add a thing saying, if you want the updated copy, you got to buy it. But here's the free 2019 version.
Right.
And there's going to be people that are going to say, oh, I want the 2020 version.
Yeah, I want the updates.
They'll buy it. But I have to get my name out there, and I've done it by doing it and giving away this free PDF for, I don't know, 2-3 years now. So I know I'll have sales from that.
Yeah. Well, and I've seen a lot of authors getting frustrated lately with reader groups and their own Facebook pages. There's just not a lot of interaction.
Yeah.
Like, well, everybody's tired of it. Or everybody's moved on to the next big thing. Like, for a while it was MySpace. Then it was Facebook. Then now it's TikTok. Or I guess there was Facebook, Instagram, and then there's TikTok. But there's a progression of where people are headed.
Yeah.
But are those your people? That's the other thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, on TikTok, will I find some readers? Sure. I will find some readers for historical, paranormal romance. Like, that's not a genre you come across a lot. But you will find some readers there, yes. Will I use it and will it add value to my stuff? Probably not. So I'm going to put more of my effort into my website, my YouTube channel, because those are the things that are easy for me to update, and it's an easy place for people to find me, especially because YouTube advertises for me. Yeah. When I put on a show like this, YouTube says to someone else watching another show, hey, you like writing advice? Pop over here.
Yeah, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You always want to push them back to your main source.
Right.
So, whether that is your web page or whether that is your YouTube, you always want to push them back. So if you do a TikTok and you say, like do a short morning motivational thing and say, if you want more tips, I got plenty of them. I've got, a year's worth over on YouTube. There you go. So you gained a TikTok viewer and you pulled them out and you put them in your YouTube viewers. So you switch them over, and perhaps they'll be a book buyer eventually.
Right.
Another thing we're talking about free books. I gave a copy of Woodstock Dreams to a girl, actually from the Secret Humor group, because she had a picture in it that she's an artist. She drew it herself. It was supposed to be the cover, but she didn't get it in on time, so we just put it inside the book. I've had 3 sales from her friends because they wanted a copy of the book that had her picture in it.
Yep. Yes, Keisha, this is our cult. Okay. We condition you to be a writer. We make you publish books. Yes. How it goes.
And we make you send stuff to local newspapers.
Yes. Yes, we do.
I'm not going to stay off of that till I hear you've sent it.
That's okay, because I need to. I put it off for whatever reason I tell myself, and I'm like, no, that'll come another day.
Yeah.
Nope. What if another day doesn't come?
Yeah.
That's my other thing. Like, I got into a phase a couple weeks ago where I was writing everything. Every thought that came to my head, every outline for a book I've ever had, every idea, I've got it written down now. Because I was in this panic of, and I don't know why, but I was in this panic of, if I don't get these ideas at least outlined, if I died tomorrow, nobody else has these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So at least I could get an outline so that at least one of my kids, if they wanted to, could go to somebody and say, hey, my mom had these outlines. Can you ghostwrite this shit? And hopefully it would be in a phase of their lives where they're older and they can take a moment and go, okay, I've grieved her loss. Now I want to carry this on. Or they might just be like, no, I just want to keep this for me. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted all those ideas down. And it was like a squirrel in the springtime trying to find all their nuts. Like, okay, where do I go? And I got to put this down over here, and I got to write this over here. And this goes in this file, and that goes in that file. And blah, 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 blah. It was insane. But I got my ideas down.
And do you feel better?
No, because now there's more ideas coming.
They never, ever stop.
Inspiration does that to you.
Well, and
The
as
edge.
Warrior Secret was the only book, okay? Or the only book in that genre. And then somebody said, what happens next?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it.
No? So then Warrior's Trust happened. And then when you get into trust, you're like, well, what happens to their best friends? Because now we know they're best friends as well. What happens to them? And I'm like, well, I'll give them a story too. And then as you're giving them stories, all these other characters come up and everybody's like, well, you got to write a story for that character. And then that one over there. And I'm like, ha! That's when people are like, how many books are in this series? I don't know. As many as I can write. How about that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a Warren Zevon situation. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah. Dan had mentioned something, and it is apropos to another author friend we have. Okay, he's working right now. Okay, and it's taken him 2 years to write a book, and you're saying you write a book about the same length in a year. Okay,
Yeah.
so the working has slowed him down, but he never stopped being a writer.
Yes.
And that's the thing. If you have to go back to work for some reason, like a friend of ours did, don't let that discourage you from being a writer still. It's in the back seat, okay? But it's still in your car.
Yep.
And I think I also told her, I always considered myself a writer who was working in IT, a writer who was working as a counselor, but a writer still. And it was slow getting things out. And there were many years I didn't get anything published exactly.
Yes.
An article here, an article there maybe, but no novels were getting published. But eventually now it's come back to the fore, and I can really concentrate on it now. But don't give up. Don't go, oh, I'm just not going to write anymore because now I have to work, or now I have to go do this. No, things happen like that. They're just temporary. But writing,
I think part of it is that there, especially in the romance writing community, there's this like stigma that you must put at least one book out every year or your fans will desert you. Like, sorry, but if they're really your fans and they know that you write a good book, whenever you put out the next one, they're going to be right there going, I want that next book.
Yeah.
Now, if you take a year off to hone your craft, or you have to take a year that you don't put a book out, or maybe you don't put out one for 5 years, it doesn't mean you're not a writer.
right?
It just means that right now your writing and publishing is on hiatus. And that's okay. Because you might need that to recharge your batteries.
Yeah.
You might need that to come up with another story or a better story for your readers.
Right.
But there are readers out there, and I've seen it happen, where they're like, we need the next story. When's this next thing happening? Like, you're not the writer. Shut up. Or they won't read your series until it's finished. Like, honey, darling, it may not be finished until I'm after dead. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, there are more things coming. But
Oh,
you
believe
don't
me,
know
yeah.
that. And if they're gonna wait until your series is done, they're never gonna read your books.
That's the thing about my Spaceport Bar stuff. Even if I die, everybody else that's ever contributed a story is still going to want to write more.
Yeah. Yeah, like
I've written 18 now, and there's like 100.
mhm.
There's, you know,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
80 more than 80 that I didn't write myself that's still in the bar,
Yeah. Well,
and they've
Amy
got a
Hale
free
writes in a
invitation to
series.
keep going.
Yeah, Amy Hale writes in a series called Havenwood Falls.
Mhm.
And she doesn't even know how many books are in that series. I think. She might have counted by now, but there are a ton of books and a ton of writers in that series that so if somebody asked how many books are in the series, you can't tell them even though you're in that series and you're a writer of that series. You couldn't tell them from 1 minute to the next unless you had time to keep track of all 50 or 60 writers in that series. Come on now.
Is that a series where, I mean, you have to read one to understand the next? Or
No.
okay, so it's more like like the Spaceport Bar. It's a
Almost
shared
like-
universe.
It's
like
a shared
soap opera
universe.
that happens in the
Yeah.
same town.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's look at L.J. Braun, the Cat Who books.
Okay.
First came out in 1966.
Mm-hmm.
A book kind of every year until 70, and then she quit writing for 10 years.
Well, after that first book, The Cat Who Saw Red, she stopped writing for 10 years, I think.
Yeah.
Didn't start up again.
Yeah.
I mean, but people waited.
Yeah.
Her fans still waited because it was a good book.
Well, someone who's an avid reader of, I don't care who the author is, whether it's Stephen King or James Patterson or whoever, if they were to say, you know what, I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to take 2 years off, and I'm just going to be with my family. I'm just going to do my thing. And then after that time, I'll decide if I'm going to write another book or not. Those fans, there's going to be those fans that, oh, I'm never reading another book. Or there's those fans that are, okay, well, wait, no problem. Or, man, I'm disappointed. You're going to have it all. It doesn't matter if you're top of the game or bottom of the game. You're going to have those fans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were talking about Stephen King when he had that accident and wasn't able to write for such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
His fans didn't desert him. They go, well, he's going to come back someday, and I'm going to get that book.
Right.
Yeah, and readers are not generally a single interest fan.
Right.
They're going to have other writers that they're going to want to pursue, and sooner or later they're going to come up with what I like to call the automatic buy list. When they see a writer's name on the spine of a book, they buy it no matter what.
Yes.
And even if it's not their cup of tea, they'll wait for the next one, which may be.
Yeah.
I was just going to say about the same thing as Dan. You know, it's not like you're the only writer they read, but they like your stuff and they're going to buy it.
Yeah.
You know, Donna told me recently, I'm not going to make gravy anymore. I just don't like the way it comes out when I try to make gravy. Now, did she say she's never going to fix dinner again? No, I'm going to get fed, which is
sometimes if you're good.
Thanks.
But I'm not going to get gravy. Okay, I can get gravy at a restaurant, or we can buy pre-mixed gravy, whatever. She's just not going to make gravy. Okay, but I'm going to eat. And that's how readers are. If you can't get, James Patterson, then you may read a Tom Clancy or you may do something else. But, it's not going to stop you. But if you do see the next Patterson out, then 2 years later, you're going to say, oh, yeah, I need that.
Yeah. Well, it's like Dan was talking. Yeah. I when he was alive, I would buy Barbara B. Parker didn't matter what. It started with the Spencer series, which I loved. Then he's got the Jesse Stone's series, which is okay. It's
Right.
Robert B. Parker, so I got it.
Mhm.
There's another one too with the female detective that's pretty good. Then he's got his standalones. His standalones aren't that good. They're not mysteries. They're supposedly hardcore real life. They're not that good.
But you
But I
bought.
still,
We don't wanna
yes,
lose that.
I still got them because it was Robert B. Parker.
Right.
Oh, okay. Here's a perfect example. Roger Zelazny, mainly known as a sci-fi and fantasy
Mhm.
writer,
Mhm.
very, very wide group of fans for each genre. All right. Years after he died, they found one of his books in a chest that he had never submitted,
Mm.
and a publisher put it out. I snapped that up so fast I thought the cover was going to catch on fire. And it was not fantasy, it was not sci-fi, it was a spy story.
Mm.
And can you imagine if he had that thought in his head, if I can't publish this because this isn't what my readers think I should write?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. That
Well,
could
I've
have been.
run into that with some people. They adopt different nom de plumes for each genre they write in, because somewhere or another someone has told them, oh, you don't want your audience for sci-fi to know that you write romance.
Exactly.
That'll ruin your sales.
Yes.
And that's
No.
stupid. That's
See,
stupid.
I think
we
as
put the
well.
blinders on ourselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I agree, Dan, because wouldn't it be awesome to be known as the writer who can write any genre? Throw that genre in front of me and I got it.
Hmm.
Now,
Mhm.
not all writers can pull that off, and I get that.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't you say to yourself, I'm going to go out there as me, whoever that is, and I'm going to write this genre and that one and this one and this one because I want to.
Mhm.
Because in my experience, if I'm excited about the story, I'm going to write a good story.
Yeah.
If I don't care one way or the other, I'm probably not going to write a good story. That's in an interview. I was asked if I write comedy, and I said, not really, no. Can I be funny on camera? Sure. Can I write it? I don't know that I can. Will I try it? Oh, hell yeah. I'll
Mhm.
try it,
Good.
but I don't know if it's going to come off well. But I'm still going to use the name Michaela Jade to do that.
Mhm.
Right.
I found a way to trick myself over that hump. Instead of going, oh, I'm a sci-fi writer, I'm a fantasy writer, I'm a steampunk writer, I go, I'm an adventure story writer.
There you
Mm.
go.
That
Yeah.
goes everywhere.
It does,
Mhm.
except erotica. Well, you could do erotica with adventure.
I
That would
could,
be it. Veronica's very adventurous.
Yeah.
but
I
And
mean,
that's my thought on it.
that's one of those things where I try to spare my own blushes, because my imagination's a little bit more active than a lot of people's. So.
Yeah, I thought mine was too, and then secret
I
came
don't
up.
know. You do have a copy of my Woodstock Dreams.
Yeah, I won't say it's
So
tame.
each their own, really. But I thought a lot about it lately because there's been a couple authors that are going back and forth on, do I use one pen name for this and one pen name for that and one pen name for... I don't
Oh,
see it. I would rather know that my favorite author that writes in this genre can also write in this genre.
Mhm.
Because then I know that person is really smart. That person is really good at what they do. Doesn't matter what you give them,
Yeah.
they can write.
Sure.
okay.
So that's like last October, our dear friend Meredith had a lot of writers who wrote horror stories, and then she had them read them online, and she reached out to me, and I'm like, I've never written in that. I don't know if I could. And she encouraged me, and it was a very short, very rough, but I did it.
Yeah.
And I read it, and I got people going, not bad. And then there's not saying, oh, that was great, but I got a not bad,
Right.
which
And
I felt great about.
Good. And did you find that it helped you with the genre that you do write?
Now, some people might say that's horror anyway with all the blood and guts, but
Right. But that's the thing. For me, it's stretching my abilities is only going to help me in my writing. Doesn't matter what genre I'm writing. Doesn't matter if I'm writing in my I don't want to say newspaper, but magazine, the outdoor magazine that I write. Yes, it's just a 1,200 word article in a magazine. But I would like to think that by stretching my abilities or trying things I haven't tried before as far as writing, that it helps me in every aspect become a better writer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm gonna try. I've not tried it before, but I'm gonna try some steampunk and some more like Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
But again, that's a niche genre. You've got to get the right reader. I don't have those yet. And one of the things that caught me was one of my good friends said, well, I don't have those kind of readers in my reader group. Because they're in her reader group, she thought that they were only this kind of genre is what they liked. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I read all kinds of genres. Self-help stuff. So why wouldn't I? So I'm your reader, but I can't be your reader because I read other stuff. And then she says, well, you're different. You're not like everyone else. I'm like, agreed. But a reader is a reader is a reader. Now, granted, there are some that they're like, I don't like horror. I don't like crime stuff. Okay. Or I don't like romance. Fine. That doesn't mean that they don't read cross genres.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell yourself short thinking, well, I can't do that group takeover because that group is Western or that group is fantasy and I write Western or vice versa or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't sell yourself short there. Just get the word out that you're a writer.
Again, that's a self-blinder thing, you know.
Uh-huh.
My reader group won't like this.
Yes.
Well, you know.
How do you know?
You don't know, first of all. And second of all, maybe you need a second reader group then for your next genre if you're going to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, find other people in that genre and say, hey, would you like to read this?
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe you're helping them out because, you know, they need some, you know.
Well, and you'll see a lot in the romance genre. You'll see women asking other women, hey, can I share my book in your group? Yeah, absolutely. Share it. Is it what I write or is it the genre that my readers are used to? No. Doesn't mean they won't read it. Doesn't mean they won't say to themselves, oh, I don't like that book, but I bet my best friend would love that book.
Exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be your readers are in that group. It's just that you marketed to a new group. So don't sell yourself short there and think that just because it's a historical Westerns group, you can't advertise your fantasy books there, or vice versa. It's a fantasy writers group. You can't put horror there because I've had them all in my newsletter. I've had almost everything. I've even had a comic book Kickstarter in my newsletter. Now, did it go over? Did it help them? I don't know. Couldn't hurt them.
No.
It definitely will never hurt.
Right. Well, and the other thing I wanted to say with that is newsletters. If you don't have one, get one going. If sales is what you're after, get your newsletter going. Because if, God forbid, social media goes down, you now have your website and your newsletter, and that's it. And the only way to get your newsletter going is to get people's email addresses. And for me, I do that at cons. I do that at book signings. There's a notebook out and it says newsletter sign up. I'll be damned if people don't sign up for that just because they can't buy my book, but they want to know when the next one's coming or can I get one online and where do I get that? Yeah. So now in my newsletter, I'm focusing more on not even just, hey, here's what's up. Oh, hey, by the way, if you signed up for my newsletter, here's the info you were asking about. Here's where to find my books. And oh, by the way, one's on sale right now.
Yeah.
I do that for my friends. Why wouldn't I do that for me?
Right.
Yeah, because your newsletter is not only just what's happened with you, but it's also a sales tool. And you need to use it as such. And I think that's a great idea to collect up those addresses and put that going if that's what you want to do is sell.
Yes.
You
And
can-
don't forget to mention that you have a newsletter in your article on how to get on it,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
send that tonight.
All my links are in there. Yeah.
Dark side
Yep.
calling you.
The dark side
Side
is,
of the force is calling you.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. I was looking at my list over here of things I wanted to touch on. Working with other
Emperor
authors-
Palpatine is Emperor Palpatine is pushing her to push you to get that article on tonight.
I
Yes,
thought that was her phone alarm.
it is. It's the Emperor
Oh,
of the Dark Side. It's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Michaela. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. But that's another thing I wanted to say is work with other authors. Doesn't matter what they write, doesn't matter what you write. Don't sell yourself short. Don't put those blinders on and say, well, they don't write in my genre. Or they
Right.
do write in my genre, so I can't talk to them.
Oh,
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are authors out there that, well, they write in my genre, so they have my readers or my fans, and that would be either me stealing from them or them stealing from me as far as readers go. And I'm sorry, but I've read thousands of books.
Right.
And when I'm done reading a book, I don't care whose title is on that book. If it interests me, I want to read that book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell BJ Daniels, hey, I can't read your books because I read Christine Feehan. Or
Right.
Christine Feehan, hey, I can't read your books because I read BJ Daniels. Or Lori Thomas. Or
yeah.
God forbid anybody else. Like, really, you think somebody who reads Stephen King doesn't read somebody else? Come on now.
Right. And people get these strange ideas in their heads, and then it changes their behaviors, and then it hurts them in the long run. Because you think, okay, I can't share a reader with that person, and okay, then you won't have a reader.
Yeah.
Don't limit yourself to that sort of thing.
Well, and I met a reader at one of my daughter's driver's ed courses because I homeschool. We have to go outside and find a private school. So we're waiting on the kids to get out one time, and I'm typing away on my laptop, and she says, "Oh, you busy working? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt." As she came in the door, and I said, "No, it's okay. I'm just a writer.
Yeah.
I'm just a writer, And so we get to talking, and at the time, I only had the one book out. And she, oh my gosh, yeah, I read everything. I'd love to read your book. I go, oh, bullshit. So I start describing the book to her, and she's like, no, I'd love to read it. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So I give it to her. Not only does she read it, she reads everything that I put out. She even started, I said, well, if you read that prolifically and you'll leave reviews, I know authors that will hand you a book and say, here, please review my book.
Mm-hmm.
She went through, I don't know, 200 books in a month. Like, this woman can read.
Wow.
And she's part of a book group at her local library.
Mm.
Like,
There you go.
it pays to talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
It pays to put your card down on the table and say, hey, I'm an author.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter if you think they might read your book or might not read your book. Well, they won't read it because they're not Western fans. They won't read it because they're not fantasy fans. Just try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like the little old lady that bought my copy of Seduction of Lily Monroe. I'm like,
You never expect that, but then when you get it, you're like, oh, damn.
Mm-hmm.
that's my favorite story.
Yeah. Okay, and the only other thing I've got here is sign up for your local book signings, book fairs, festivals, libraries. Get the word out about you and what you do. I'm not real sure where else you can sign up, or you can sell your books, but anywhere. Don't think that because it's a farmer's market, you can't sell your books. Because I didn't think I could either, and I just went on a fluke. I thought, well, my daughter's doing it. I might as well take my books, see what happens.
Exactly.
Every single time I'm there, if I don't have my books, people are asking, oh, where's your books? So now I bring them every single time.
Yeah. Always have your book and your square reader in the car just in case.
Oh my God, yes. Your square reader and your change to make change. Yes. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do that. Don't forget it at home.
Yeah. Yeah, we do that when we're going somewhere just in case, you know.
Yeah.
It may not be a book show or something, but when we went to Helicon, I had a bunch of books in the back of the car. I had my square meter just in case somebody said, "You write, right?
Yeah.
Do you have anything with you?" Yes, sir, I do.
Yeah.
What do you mean when we go someplace? We had a person at our house who wanted to buy a book, and she's like, "Oh, I don't have any cash." And Carl whips out the square and says, "I can take a credit card." Okay.
Yes.
Hey, you can tell I worked in sales to get my way through college,
Well, and
right?
I think that might help me when I'm at these cons and stuff. People say, wow, you're really good at selling. In fact, I didn't realize it, but I went to a local festival with another author friend of mine. She invited me. She says, "Come hang out, sell your books, see what happens." So I went, and I'm standing up and she's sitting down. Now she has medical reasons. She can't stand up all day.
Right.
But there was a bunch of people walking by, and I'm standing up. And I'm, hey, I'm talking to everybody. Like, I love your purse. I love your boots. Oh my God, that's a great hat. Whatever I can get to get their attention over here. And I had sold, I don't know, my third book, and the customer walks away, and she goes, "Okay, you can just sit the fuck down now." Like, what did I do? I thought I was really in trouble. And she goes, "I haven't sold a thing, and I invited you here." And I didn't say it, but I thought to myself, well, no one can see you.
Yeah.
Because they had asked me about her books, and then she would stand up.
Yeah.
I get it if you have medical conditions, but it's tough. You've got to be seen. So maybe sit in front of your table, pull your table behind you. I don't know.
Behind it. Yeah.
Yeah, something. Get yourself seen, talk to people. Because that's all I was doing. I never once said, "Hey, buy my book." Never once.
Right.
I said, "I like your purse. I like your boots." It's some compliment that made them turn their head and go, "Oh, who are you?" Otherwise, they're walking through this festival with their friends having a good time. They never see you.
Right.
Michaela, you might wind up on a marketing panel at a sci-fi convention sometime or another.
Yeah.
Because you have researched a lot of this stuff. You know everything that you have learned, and you know how to present it well. And that's exactly the kind of thing that will get people interested in a panel. And we'll have people come up after the panel and go, "Hey, let me take a look at your stock. What you got? What you do? What you write?"
Yeah, I'm hoping and
It'll
that's
work.
the thing, I'm not trying to be buy my book.
Right.
In the end, that's what I need.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't even say want. It's a need. If I'm going to keep doing the full-time author thing, I have to make it work.
Right.
So you may not see me at that con that you thought I was going to go to or that I went to last year, because it may not be financially feasible.
Uh-huh.
So now I've got to pull back a little bit and go, okay, I can only go to the ones that are close to home, or the ones that are financially feasible to get to. They're a cheap table fee, or I know I'm going to sell enough to make the table fee and the hotel cost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So these next couple of years is going to be like, if you want to see Michaela Jade, get your butt to wherever I say I'm going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely, I think I have an advantage over some as far as sales and such. And that I'm always researching stuff. But I'm waiting for that one person to come to me and be like, "You don't know what you're talking about, but teach me," like, don't come at me with an attitude, but teach me, Sure, I got something to learn. I'm still learning.
Oh, yeah.
So yes, now I will send that thing, because otherwise Donna will kick my ass. I've got it on my paper. I wrote it down. It will happen.
Okay.
But you don't think I need to do a press release?
No.
No, because they won't use it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe just give them all my links.
You can give them your links and such. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Because
Yeah,
that was the
because
hard part. Was because when you start to get all those images in there, then you got to get small images so that they fit in the email, and the email has to be certain. And it's just like, man, are they even going to see this email if it's this big? It might go to their junk file.
well, that's the problem. If you add a press or a press kit and all this other stuff, they don't have time to read that. They're a newspaper. They have to come out every day or every week. They don't have time to read all that stuff. They just want to see what can I take from this article you've written and put my headline and my byline,
Yes.
on top of that, and
make it newsworthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll change your article around and write their own
probably.
anyway.
Yeah.
But you just want to suggest to them topics that they will include in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why it was interesting to me when our local paper sent out the ad, and all it was an ad about this big. Like if you weren't really reading that paper, you'd have missed it. And it said, we're looking for stories from local people about local people. I'm like, I know a local people.
Our local people.
Yeah, I are one. Yes. And that's, I think, what holds me up too is I know where I came from. I know I came from nothing. And I also know that to some people, my success is nothing. Like they've way surpassed me.
What you're picturing, I don't know, maybe a next door neighbor when you were a kid reading that paper and going, oh, look at this. 99% of the people that read that article are not going to know you until they read that article.
Yes.
And they'll know you from that article. And that's what you want. You're selling to them. You're not selling to that kid next door. You don't care about him. He may buy a book anyway, but you're selling to those 99% that don't know you at all.
Yeah, they don't have a clue who I am.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, it'll get sent.
Yes, it will.
Yes, it will. Right here on my list. It will get
Get
sent.
it off the list. Get it on the internet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think I'm going to do the same, Michaela. I've got an article written about the Munsey book that I wrote way back when. Now that I've updated it, it's about time I send out another, article to the newspaper and say, hey,
here's what's going on. Yep. Well, yeah, I explained to my husband just the other day what Munsey was.
Yeah.
And he's like, I said something about, when we get older, we could do that. And he's like, we don't have time for that. We got to go fishing. Well, okay then.
This is electronic fishing.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was telling him. I'm like, it's still like a scavenger hunt. So,
We'll win him over.
Yeah.
Hunter's got a good point.
Yep.
Come to the Munsey side. They have
Badges.
Yeah, badges and stickers.
Badges.
That's how I got Donna involved. I said, do you know that? She was not interested in playing this game at all because she went with me to geocache and such, and she was like, and this is like geocaching except in a city or something like, yeah, kind of. And she's like, you get points. Well, then when they added badges, she's like, badges? Oh, I can get badges? Okay.
I need some stinking badges.
Oh, yeah,
Sign me up.
Points. I'm like, points? I like points. What are points for?
There you go.
Well, I teach my kids homeschool, and one of the programs we use is called Khan Academy. Well, in Khan Academy, you can earn badges and you get points.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so for a long time, we're like, wow, look at all the points you got. And then we figured out the points mean diddly.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely diddly.
Yeah.
It doesn't like earn a badge. It doesn't, get you brownie points for nothing.
Oh, I've gotten badges for points though.
What's the point of points if they're not going to be anything? So yeah.
To me, being in the top 2,000 in the world of this game drives me on, and I've dropped into the top 2,500 during the winter.
You have to pick up some slack.
It's on, babies.
Yeah.
Worldwide. You Germans, listen to me. I'm coming.
It was a top Munsey hunter. Yep. All right, guys.
Carl
it's
is
been
coming
fun.
for you.
Thank you for coming. I think we covered a shit ton of topics.
Oh, yeah.
And now I have work to do.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, okay, fine.
And an email to send.
Yep. Yeah, I will do that. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.